Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Vijender Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English. Presently, I have been posted at Government College Gudha in Jhanganur district. In the series of video lectures, today's lecture is meant for class BA part 2nd, subject English Literature, paper 1st, and today's lecture is an attempt to give the explanation of the poem Ode to Autumn, composed by famous romantic poet John Keats. John Keats is one of the five greatest romantic poets. He was born in 1795 and died 1821. He was the youngest of the romantic poets. He died at the tender age of 26. About him, it is said that he was the last to be born and first to die romantic poets. The other four being P.B. Shelley, Lord Byron, William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge. That is, out of these five romantic poets, John Keats was born the last and died first. He was different from the other poets of his generation. He was different from Byron because he was not a rebel. He was different from Shelley because he was not a utopian dreamer, an idealist that there will be happiness everywhere. He did not believe in that. He was different from Wordsworth because he did not expose any philosophy of nature. He did not want to make his poetry the vehicle of any philosophy. And neither he resembled in his attitude to Coleridge because he did not try to give incomplete poems. He believed, that is, John Keats believed that poetry should be the incarnation of beauty alone. His famous line in his very long poem, Endymion, a thing of beauty is joy forever, strikes the keynote of his work. That is, he used to believe that art should be for art's sake, not for life's sake, not to give message. In his treatment of nature, also the passion for sensuous beauty is always dominant. He loved nature for its own sake. He found no spiritual meaning or message in it. This is something about the poet. Now about the poem. Ode to Autumn is the most perfect poem written by John Keats. It was published in 1820, that is 1 year before his death. As we know from the title, it is a poem, it is an ode, and it is addressed to autumn. The poet describes the various activities carried out in this season. The description of autumn given by the poet is unparalleled, unmatched. The poem is divided into three stanzas. Each stanza has 11 lines. The first stanza tells us about the blessings of the autumn, that is bounty, gifts which are given by autumn season for human beings. The second stanza depicts autumn herself, that is various activities which are carried out in autumn season. And the third gives us the music and beauty of the season. This is something about the poem. Now let us come to the main thing for which I have prepared this video. That is the explanation of the poem. The poem is very easy and I have given the meanings and explanation of some words and lines after each stanza. As I have told you, the poem consists of three stanzas, so we have divided the explanation into three parts: stanza 1, stanza 2, and stanza 3. Now let us concentrate on stanza 1. season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. The poet addresses autumn and calls it that it is a season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. Mist means fog, mellow means ripe fruitfulness. The meaning is in England, autumn season comes in the month of about September. So lot of fog appears in the sky. So the poet calls it is a season of mists. And all kinds of fruits get ripened because after that there will come winter. So we can say autumn is the season of fog when clouds are hanging low. Mellow means mild, ripe, and fruitfulness is being full of fruit and juice. Or in more general terms, there is a lot of everything. Everything is available in plenty. Close bosom friend of maturing sun. Close bosom means very intimate friends, very close friends, best friends. That is of maturing sun. Here, some interpret it as the sun has grown old, so maturing sun, but it doesn't mean that. It means the rays of the sun, which brings about the maturity of fruits. That is, fruits get ripened in the sun. Conspiring means working together in collaboration with each other. And how to load and bless with fruit the vines, grapevines, creepers, that round the thatch eaves run. Thatch eaves means a cottage of which the roof are made of straw or other reed like that. The idea is what the poet wants, that autumn and sun both are best friends. They work together. They have intimate relationship, and both of them working together for a common purpose. And the purpose is they bring about the maturity, the ripeness in all the fruits. Even the creepers, particularly grapevines, which are hanging over the thatched roofs of the cottages, they are also filled with fruits. Then the second thing, to bend with apples the most cottage trees. Most is a kind of grass, plant. There are certain trees in the cottage, apple trees. Their trunk are covered with moss. And because of the season, autumn, all the trees are laden with apples. Due to the weight of the apples, they have bent down. They have bent down. And fill all fruit with ripeness to the core, to the internal part, to the central part. Not only apples and grapes, but all kinds of fruits get ripened in this season to the core, that is to the central part of the fruit. To swell the gourd. Gourd is a kind of vegetables. It becomes swells, become large and full. Its size becomes very big. And plump means become round and fat. The hazel cells, a kind of we can say seed whose outer covering is very hard, they become very ripened, we can say. They are ripened with a sweet kernel. And inside the central part becomes very sweet. That is, it gets ripened. The nuts swell up like balloons, and the inside part, that is kernel, becomes very sweet. to set budding more. And even in the autumn season, there are some flowers which bloom in large numbers, and more flowers bloom. Later flowers for the bees. Though the season of the autumn, but these flowers bloom and the bees think that these are blooming for them. And until they think warm days will never cease, means stop. And they start thinking that summer will never come to an end, then they start or they continue sucking honey from these flowers and placing that honey in their beehives. For summer has overbrimmed their clammy cells. Clammy means sticky, already filled up to the brim. All the cells in the beehive during the summer season, they think that summer will never come to an end. They have collected so much of honey in their cells that all the cells have become sticky. We can say the summer has made the nuts and flowers and all the harvest of the summer grow until it bursts. We can say this. Now, the second stanza. In the second stanza, as I have told you, in the first stanza, we are given the gifts, the bounties which are given by autumn season for human beings. In the second stanza, we are given the activities which are carried out in autumn season. And there are a lot of activities which are carried out in autumn season. So the poet begins this stanza with a rhetorical question. Who hath not seen thee oft amid thy store? It's a rhetorical question. It means it contains the answer in itself. It means, is there any person who has not seen autumn season in so many activities? In other words, in autumn seasons, there are many activities which are performed in the fields, and everyone must have seen them. There is no doubt, no trace of doubt about it. It is true. So now the poet will give us the different activities which are carried out in the autumn season, and he will personify autumn as doing these activities in the form of a lady or man. Both are acceptable, but normally we say as a lady. Means autumn will be personified in the coming lines doing these activities. Let us now see what the poet says. Sometimes whoever seeks, try to find abroad. Abroad here means in other foreign countries, but here means outside home, away from home, may find. Thee means you, obsolete verb, sitting careless on a granary floor, where grains are stored or taken out from the internal part, we can say. That is the place where grain is brought into to be separated from its kernels. So the first image which is presented before us is that any person who goes outside the home can find it, can see it. The first image is that as a woman is seen sitting carelessly near a granary floor. Thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind. And the hair of the woman who is busy in the process of threshing are uplifted because of the air. Because of the air. The poet says that lady is not doing an activities, but it is autumn itself. This is the first personification in the form of a winnower. Now the second personification is as a reaper, or on a half reaped furrow, sound asleep. See the imagination of the poet, that as a reaper she was busy, as a lady was busy in doing the reaping work or harvesting, cutting the crops. Suddenly she becomes asleep, drowsed, becomes sleepy with the fume smell of poppies, that there are certain flowers of poppies of which opium is made. As she was busy, suddenly she smells the poppy flowers, and under the impact of opium or poppies, she falls asleep. The result is the furrow which she was to cut or reap remained uncut, while thy hook, sickle, spares and leaves save the next sweat and all its twinned flowers. And as she is asleep, so her sickle does not cut the sweat, the crop which she was to cut, and along with all the intertwined flowers around them. This was the second image or second personification as a reaper. Now the third, and sometimes like a gleaner thou dost keep. Gleaner is a person who, what is the gleaner? Gleaner is a person who collects fruits or vegetables that are left lying after the harvest. So she has collected something and tied in a bundle, and bundle is on her head, and she is crossing a stream, steady the laden head across a brook, a stream or small river. Laden head means the burden of the bundle which is on her head. She is keeping it steady and fixed so that the bundle may not fall in the stream. She is keeping her head fixed so that the load may not fall into the river. Now the fourth personification is as a cider presser. What is a cider press? Cider press is a device that squeezes the juice out of apples to make wine, and cider presser is a person who does this job. So by a cider press, see, as a woman, she is sitting near the cider press with patient look, looking patiently as the juice comes out very slowly, drop by drop. Thou watchest the last oozing, trickling, coming drop by drop, hours by hours, for a long period of time. She watches as it is not coming in large amount, but in a very small amount, small quantity, by drop, it is coming out, and she is watching it. The poet imagines it as a cider presser. We can say in this stanza, the poet has personified autumn season in 4 pictures. First is winnower, second is reaper, third one is gleaner, and fourth one is cider presser. Now the third stanza. In the third stanza, as I have told you, the poet describes or depicts the sounds, that is music, and sights, that is scenes of autumn season. In spring season, there is beautiful sights available in the fields everywhere, and these sights and scenes are absent in autumn season. When the poet thinks on this aspect of the nature, he feels sad. Now what he says is, Where are the songs of spring? Means song sights and scenes, music, sounds which were available in spring season are not available in autumn season. The poet puts a question where they have gone. It is a sad explanation, means to see the sorrow of the poet. Where are they? He again puts the same question where they have gone. He misses them. Suddenly, his soul or his conscience tells him not to worry about this aspect of nature. But he says, see, think not of them. It tells him that you should not think about the sights and sounds of autumn season. Why? Thou hast thy music tune. Because autumn season has its own music, which is peculiar to autumn season, which is not available in spring season. Just as the music of spring is not available in autumn, similarly, the music of autumn is not available in spring season. It has its own variety of music. And that is the sights and scenes, music of autumn have their own property, which is not found in any other season. So the poet gives us about the sights. It says, while barred clouds looking like the bars of a great earth, bloom lend charm to the soft dying day. Soft dying day means setting day. That is, the sun is about to set. That there are clouds in the sky, the sun is setting, and it gives out a beautiful picture, or it becomes very beautiful to look at it. This is visible, or this is available only in autumn season, not in spring season. And touch the stubble plains. Stubble means the sort stalk after reaping the fields or harvesting the crop. The light of the setting sun falls over them, and with rosy hues, hue color, and fills the whole fields with rosy color. This sight is very beautiful. This sight is available only in autumn season, not in spring season. These were the beautiful sights of autumn season. Now, in the coming lines, the poet will tell us about the music of autumn season. He says, then in a wailful choir, wailful, sorrowful, mourning choir, group of small gnats and insects more among the river shallows. Shallow is a kind of tree which are generally found near the rivers or water. That there are many insects in large numbers of groups among the shallows, yellow trees. We can say they are in willow trees of low growing near water. They are carried up. That is, large number of insects, they are carried, borne aloft, carried up or sinking, that is coming down, as the light wind lives or dies, as the wind blows or stops. When the wind blows, they go up, and when the wind stops, they come down. During this up and down, their wings make a kind of sound, and that sound appears to the poet mournful but very sweet. He says this sound is available, or this music is available only in autumn season. And the full grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne. That is fully grown lamb, that's it, which are bound. Bourne means in the boundary of the hilly, that is their enclosures which is situated near the hills, they produce their natural sounds, and that natural sounds is available only in autumn season. The third, hedge cricket sings, it's grasshopper sing, and this is also available in only in autumn season. Another sound, now with treble soft, the red breast. Treble soft means note of music sung at the loudest pitch. And red breast is a kind of bird which is found in England. It is also called robin, red robin. So another sound which is available, which can be heard, or the music which can be heard, is the sound or is the music produced by red robin, which sings from a garden croft. Garden croft means, croft is a piece of land next to the house used as a vegetable garden. That bird is singing. That music is available only in autumn season. That is, in the vegetable garden next to the house, there sing red robins at their high pitch. That music is available only in autumn season, not in spring season. And gathering swallows, means swallows gathers in large number for winter migration. The swallows migrate in large number to warm places when winter comes, as they cannot bear cold, so they go. So they, gathering swallows twitter, they produce their chirping sounds in the sky as they are preparing for migration in their warm places. The idea is, there are many sounds which are only available in spring season, sorry, in autumn season, that is not available in spring season. So the poet assures, or his conscience assures himself, that one should not feel sorry for the sounds and sights which are not available of the spring season, which are not available in autumn season, because autumn has its own music and its own sights. Thank you very much.